Inside the Magic, show number 471 for April 13th, 2014. It is Sunday, April 13th, 2014, and this is show 471 of Inside the Magic, and as always, I am your host, Ricky Briganti, and we've got a double anniversary show this week, one of which you might be already guessing, and the other of which might come as a surprise. So we'll get to that in just a little bit. Before we do, I invite you to visit our website at InsideTheMagic.net. There you'll find all of our podcasts, videos, photos, news, articles, and plenty more. And if you ever have any news, tips, questions, comments, anything else you want to send in, you can do so by emailing me at ricky@insidethemagic.net, or you can call and leave a message at 407-494-4ITM. That's 4486. And now, let's get on with the show. This week's episode of Inside the Magic is brought to you by Magical Travel. You can escape to your own carefree tropical getaway with Disney Cruise Line and save 20% off prevailing rates on 3- and 4-night Bahamian cruises sailing from Port Canaveral in early 2014, and that's where we are now. So don't let this offer sail by calling Magical Travel today at 866-207-8387, or visit them online at magicaltravel.com to receive a free price quote, and be sure to mention Inside the Magic when you do that to receive your free Disney gift card for qualifying bookings when you book your Disney vacation with Magical Travel. And thanks very much to all contributors to the show, whether you're making a donation, clicking through any of the affiliate links, or just saying thank you. I appreciate all of it. And now, let's get started with a trip around the world. So, as I mentioned, we're celebrating 2 anniversaries this week on the show, the first of which I will mention right now. Today's date is a very special one in the world of Inside the Magic. It is April 13th, and that is exactly 9 years to the day after the first episode of this podcast was released. I don't know if this may be the very first time that the anniversary show actually fell on a show day. I don't feel like I've done that before. Maybe I have once. I don't know. It's certainly not common. So it is the 9th anniversary of this podcast. I'm not doing a ton to celebrate that milestone because, it's 9. It's not quite 10. When we get to 10 next year, then it will be time for a big grand celebration of some sort. But that's a year from now. But I did go to the Magic Kingdom today, and I had a very special person give us a little anniversary note.
Oh, boy! Well, happy anniversary!
That was from Talking Mickey Mouse in Town Square Theater. That was about all I could get him to say as far as talking about the anniversary of this show, although I did have a bit of an extended conversation with Mickey about other things. You know what? I'm just going to... Here, I'll play the whole conversation I had with Mickey for you now. Hi, Mickey. How are you?
Oh, I never would have guessed it. You're here.
I am.
I am.
How are you doing today, Mickey?
Are you having a good time so far?
Yes, very much. Great time.
I'm glad to hear it. So, what are you going to do after this?
I was thinking about riding the Haunted Mansion.
You're going to that creepy old mansion?
Yes.
Okay, but be careful. A ghost might try to follow you home.
I'm counting on it.
Say, would you mind if I got a picture with you?
Bye, Mickey.
Goodbye now.
Always fun to go to the park and talk to Mickey Mouse. It's nice that he's able to converse with guests now. A fun addition to the offerings at the park. And I used FastPass Plus to get in to talk to Mickey, which was nice. And I did, in fact, ride the Haunted Mansion. I had set up a FastPass Plus time for that, as well as the reserved area for the Festival of Fantasy Parade. First time I had tried that. Obviously, I've seen the parade before, but the reserved area is kind of the half of the hub area in front of the castle. It's really nice, actually, because especially for those who want to see all the floats a lot, or take a lot of pictures, or most importantly, see Maleficent spit her fire, the dragon, of course, multiple times. You can sort of lurk around the left side, watch the parade come in from Frontierland, Adventureland, Liberty Square area side of the park, and as it's making its way into Liberty Square, through Liberty Square, and then into the hub, and then it rounds the area there. You can follow along very easily easily with your favorite floats because there's not a ton of people in that reserved area. I followed and walked along next to Maleficent all the way around from that side around to the Tomorrowland side. Had no obstructions, nobody in my way. There were certainly other people in the area, but they were watching the parade. So, I was able to take a lot more photos, as if I needed to take more pictures of this parade. I've already taken hundreds, but sure, why not a few more? And it was nice. So a good addition there. Certainly some kinks and some bugs still to be worked out for FastPass Plus. I really wanted to ride the Haunted Mansion multiple times today, and unfortunately in the current system, not only are you only allowed to pick 3 FastPass Plus selections for the day, but you can't pick the same attraction twice, even after you're all said and done. So hopefully someday that will change. I wished I could have picked Haunted Mansion 3 times instead of what I did, but what I did worked out. So anyway, that's my little Magic Kingdom story for the day. I'm actually going to have a whole bunch of photos that I took at the park today. I'll post those pretty soon. But moving on from there, let's get to some news beyond the fact that this is an anniversary of Inside the Magic. The Seven Dwarves Mine Train certainly looking great at the Magic Kingdom, getting very close to opening, though definitely was not open today or ready to be open. There were still scaffolding and extension cords and bits of construction here and there and workers and all that, so it wasn't ready to open. However, just recently some riders were spotted on the ride for the very first time wearing safety vests. It looks like maybe they were Imagineers, testing it out, but that means the ride is safe for riders to ride it. Doesn't mean it's done, but it means it's safe and it's working, so that's a good sign. I've got some photos over on InsideTheMagic.net where you can see people riding the Seven Dwarves Mine Train. In addition, Disney this week released a video of the dwarf animatronics, or at least a sampling of them, that will be featured inside the Seven Dwarves Mine Train in the mine, and they look fantastic. Very smooth movement, fully animated faces. You'll definitely head over to our website to see that video, unless, of course, you want to stay completely spoiler-free, in which case you could just wait till the ride opens. But it's kind of a teaser video, so it's worth watching. It's pretty impressive-looking animatronics. I like them. Other news coming up soon next month is Star Wars Weekends, and Disney has announced the return of the D-Tech Me line of custom figurines this year, in addition to the Carbon Freeze Me figurine, where you can have your face, your likeness on the on the Han Solo body for being frozen in carbonite. In addition to that figure, as well as the Stormtrooper figure that was previously available, this year they're adding the Alderaan Princess, which is basically Princess Leia, and the X-Wing pilot. More or less Luke Skywalker. Those two will be available at $99.95 each, 7-inch tall figurines, same prices as previous years, plus shipping, plus sales tax. Also, in addition this year, and this one's a little extreme, you can get a 16-inch version, so more than double the size of the existing one, but a lot more than double the price. If you want a 16-inch custom figure of yourself as a Star Wars character, you're going to pay $1,500. That's $1,500. Okay, it's actually $1,499.95 plus shipping and sales tax. So it's quite a bit more, actually, once you add sales tax in. No matter which figure you decide to buy, you do get a button. Yeah, and it'll take a couple of months for the figure to arrive. You can have the scan done in Darth Maul during Star Wars Weekends at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and Darth Maul this year is moving back to a former location from years ago into an indoor, nice soundstage location. It's Soundstage 1, which is nice. It's not in that tent in the back anymore. If you've done D-Tech Me in the past, you can actually use your previous year's scan this year, which you weren't able to do previously. So if you don't want to have the whole process done all over again, you could just bring in your same face from before. I think I'm going to skip it this year. I don't think they'll let me become an Alderaan Princess, and I don't know that I need to be an X-Wing pilot, and I definitely don't want to pay $1,500 for a 16-inch version of myself as a Stormtrooper, whatever. Anyway, if you do want to book it, you call 407-WDW-TECH. Here's a new experience that Walt Disney World announced. It's called Epcot After Hours Wind Down, and it's basically giving you the option to stay at Epcot after Illuminations, the fireworks show, is done for a couple hours till 11 p.m. Now, you don't get to just wander freely, and the rides won't be open. It's actually 4 specific spots in World Showcase. This is going to be available starting April 17th and running through September 15th, and who knows, maybe they'll extend it after that if it's popular. The 4 locations are La Cava del Tequila at Mexico, Spice Road Table in Morocco, Tutto Gusto in Italy, and Rosencrown in the UK. And for $35 is what you have to pay, plus tax and gratuity, to be able to take part in this. You will get a sampling of small bites, small plates of food, along with a beverage flight. And it varies depending on which one of the four that you pick. DisneyWorld.com/spring is where you can go to find out more information on that. Speaking of food and drinks and all of that, if you go to Disney's Polynesian Hotel anytime soon out here at Walt Disney World, you'll definitely see some changes going on. The ones that Disney has announced is that Captain Cook's, the eatery sort of in the back of the Great Ceremonial House, the main lobby area, that is closed and has a temporary new location while they do a lot of renovations in there. Presumably Captain Cook's will reopen in some new form in that vaguely same area. Now, here's the part that Disney is not freely telling everybody, and they haven't really announced anything at all about this. There are a lot of reports that a lot of changes are coming to the Great Ceremonial House, including the big waterfalls and the foliage that are in the middle there. Apparently, all of that is going to be overhauled in some capacity. Again, Disney has not said anything official. They haven't set any dates as to when all of that will be closed off, but it's probably going to be pretty soon. So some pretty drastic changes going to be happening at the Polynesian sometime in the near future. Let's hop to California now with some big news from Universal Studios Hollywood this week. On Friday was the grand opening of Despicable Me Minion Mayhem at Universal Hollywood. There were a lot of yellow balloons and yellow streamers and characters from the movie, as well as Universal executives, the Los Angeles mayor, and some of the voices from the film. The daughters, Gru's daughters, were there. Miranda Cosgrove, Dana Geyer, and Elsie Fisher were all there. Same group of actresses who were out here in Orlando when the ride opened a couple of years ago. But there's much more than just the Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. It's, of course, a 3D simulator ride, pretty much the exact same ride out in California as it is in Florida, but they've added even more next to it. The Super Silly Funland is there, and it's it's a play area that has both dry and wet areas, and the wet is very, very wet. They've got like water park style wet where the big buckets just dump water on you. I can't believe that's actually in a theme park because you could get completely drenched by it. In addition to that, there's also the Silly Swirl, which is like a Dumbo style, go around in a circle type of little ride. There's also Gru's Lab Cafe, a cafeteria style restaurant with some special drinks as well. So it's a whole sort of mini land surrounding the world of Despicable Me, which is much bigger than what's out here at Universal Orlando. You can head to InsideTheMagic.net for complete coverage of the grand opening ceremony, as well as everything that's contained within there. In addition to that, however, Universal Studios Hollywood made some big announcements this week. They have officially announced the expansion of the Simpsons ride to include a Springfield area, much like we have out here in Orlando at Universal Studios Florida. However, the Hollywood version is going to be even bigger. It's opening in spring 2015, and it's going to include Krusty Burger, Luigi's Pizza, Moe's Tavern, Duff Brewery, as well as something new. This is not in Orlando. The Phineas Q Butterfats 5,600 Flavors Ice Cream Parlor is going to be there. And some artwork that the Universal released shows locations like Barney's Bolorama, Springfield Police Station, Dr. Nick Riviera's office, which is an alley, Springfield Nuclear Power Plant, King Tut's Musical Store, Springfield Penitentiary, Springfield Elementary School, Herman's Military Antiques, Mr. Burns Mansion. Now, all of these are not necessarily going to be places you can explore. They'll be perhaps represented as flat facades, big paintings, or maybe even three-dimensional facades, but these will kind of block the main buildings that will be hiding a lot of the sort of bigger establishments. It's going to be restaurants and shops, of course, but all of that's going to open in spring 2015. Should be pretty exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. In addition, Universal Hollywood has also announced a new addition to their studio tram tour, the backlot tour, called Fast and Furious Supercharged, based, of course, on the popular The Fast and the Furious film franchise. They're calling calling it a 3D HD thrill ride. They'll be reuniting the stars from the Fast and Furious series, and it's going to be a hydraulic motion-based ride. You'll be on the tram tour, but it's going to add special effects, a 3D audio system, and 3D projected imagery on what they're calling the world's longest 360-degree screen. It's going to be nearly 400 feet in length, completely encircling studio tour guests. So basically, King Kong 360 3D, but even bigger. It'll have a newly constructed 50,000 square foot structure on the back lot. It'll be using 18 4K projectors, and it's going to make guests feel on the tram like they're traveling in excess of 120 miles an hour through the streets of Los Angeles with action sequences, and they're trying to save someone from an international crime cartel, and it should be pretty exciting. I mean, I know a lot of people are going, oh, there's Universal again with projections and 3D and all of that, but this works pretty well. I mean, you think about, you go to Hollywood, right? I mean, you go to a movie, you're watching a movie on a screen. That is what a movie is, right? You're watching it on a screen. This is taking you and really putting you in the movie. I know, I mean, I love animatronics. I love rides that are really three-dimensional and all of that, but for something like this, I think this sounds pretty exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they can make a very slow-moving tram ride feel like you're traveling 120 miles an hour plus. That sounds fun. In addition to all this, there'll be prop cars from the Fast and the Furious movies along the tram route, as well as the hours that the tram will be open will be longer, with a different story being told on the tram, and new special effects after dark with new lighting and things like that. So that should be pretty fun. All of that's going to be opening in summer of 2015. So Simpsons in spring, then this in the summer. Then Universal Studios Hollywood has also announced that the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is going to open in California in 2016. They didn't say many more details. In fact, they haven't really said much of anything about what their Wizarding World is going to include, other than it will include Hogwarts Castle. But we don't know anything beyond that. We don't know if it will have elements of Diagon Alley, or if it's going to, or really anything at all. So that's still a couple of years away, but construction has certainly begun on that, and a lot to look forward to out there. Meanwhile, out here in Florida, at Universal Studios Florida, the Diagon Alley expansion of the Wizarding World is moving along quite nicely. In fact, a major element has arrived and parked out in front of the London waterfront area. It is the night bus, the big blue triple-decker bus that, zipping through the streets of London in the Harry Potter films and the books. Well, it's there. It's parked outside. It's still got some detail work that needs to be done. That whole area is coming together. It's not quite ready for the construction walls to come down yet, but I have a feeling that London waterfront will emerge first for the public before the rest of Diagon Alley is finished this summer. Speaking of construction milestones, Aquatica Orlando has added the final slide section of Ehu's Breakaway Falls. That's a drop slide of three of them side by side, where you and a couple of friends can all drop together and see each other and make fun of each other and whatever, and race to the bottom, and it should be pretty fun. I can't wait to ride that. That's next month is when that's opening. Now, back to the world of Disney. Of course, Thor and Captain America are already meeting and greeting with guests at Disneyland in California. Captain America is on the Disney Magic cruise ship, while the next Marvel superhero to make his way to a Disney theme park as a meet and greet will be Spider-Man. Surprise there. Disneyland Paris, just a few days from now, April 19th, is when Spider-Man is going to start meeting there, I believe, in the Blockbuster Cafe area of the Walt Disney Studios park. So though Disney and Marvel don't have Spider-Man as a movie character, because Sony has the rights to those movies, they are using the character in Disneyland Paris. It'll be interesting to see what Disney's version of Spider-Man looks like. And speaking of meet and greet characters, an Angelina Jolie-style Maleficent face character made her debut appearance at Disneyland during the Disney Social Media Moms celebration just a couple of days ago. There are rumors that this style of character, the movie Hollywood version of Maleficent, there are rumors that she'll appear at Disney California Adventure sometime in the near future, but nothing concrete. Disney hasn't announced anything. However, just a few days from now, On April 18th, we'll begin the extended previews of Maleficent, the movie, at Disney California Adventure, as well as Disney's Hollywood Studios, so it certainly would make sense if this character showed up then, but we'll just have to wait and see if that indeed does happen, or if this maybe was a one-off appearance. I put a photo up on our Facebook page and on Twitter if you want to see what she looked like. Here's a movie-related contest. Disney is giving amateur baseball pitchers a chance to compete for $1 million as part of they're calling it the $1 Million Arm Pitching Contest, of course, in promotion of Disney's film, $1 Million Arm. If you're at least 18 years old, you can visit Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or the Tribeca Film Festival in New York City, and the 3 contestants from each location, so 9 total, who throw the fastest pitches will advance to a final round to compete for $1 million. This is taking place April 25th and 26th at Downtown Disney in Anaheim, as well as ESPN Wide World of Sports at Walt Disney World from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on April 26th only at the Tribeca/ESPN Sports Day in New York from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. All participants will receive tickets for themselves and a guest to see an advanced screening of $1 Million Arm at AMC Theaters later that evening. You can find out more details at disney.com/pitching contest. Good luck. More in the world of movies, it seems the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you can treat that as an over-encompassing franchise, is now the highest-grossing film franchise of all time at about $2.475 billion. Previously, it was Harry Potter with a franchise gross of $2.39 billion, and Star Wars behind that at $1.9 billion. Of course, Star Wars will get a whole lot more coming up when Episode 7, 8, and 9 come out, and then it'll definitely be a battle between Star Wars and Marvel, in which case Disney wins either way. Captain America 2, something I talked about last week. Great movie. And this past week, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC tied into the movie wonderfully. One of the best episodes, if not the best episode of the show yet. I'm glad I've stuck with it because the earlier episodes were really rough. Not a huge fan of the earlier episodes, but it's really all starting to come together finally. So I'm looking forward to seeing where the TV show goes. So if for some reason you haven't been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you could probably skip a lot of the older episodes, maybe just watch the last couple, and especially if you've already seen Captain America 2, especially because it would be crazy spoilery if you haven't, and it might be worth watching from here on out. So we had all those announcements earlier from Universal Studios Hollywood. There was a very, very big Disney announcement this week in the world of video games. In fact, it was Disney and Marvel, because a video teaser showed up online showing off that Marvel will indeed be included in the video game world of Disney Infinity. The tagline for the video was, "Get ready to assemble, the possibilities are infinite." And in the video, it called it Disney Infinity 2.0 Edition and showed Captain America's shield flying around the worlds of Disney Infinity and characters and all of that, and it said, "Bring on the superheroes." Well, Disney Interactive declined to comment any further, but more information is on the way soon. And here's some more Marvel news. Of course, there's the upcoming Figment comic due out in June once Seekers of the Weird wraps up. And we've already shown you what the cover of the first issue is going to look like and some of the pages of the issue. Well, now Marvel has supplied us with a first look at the cover of the second issue of Figment as well, introducing a new mystery character flying in the sky alongside Figment, kind of a weird dog dragon thing, bright red and furry. And, well, you'll just have to head to InsideTheMagic.net to take a look at that. Let's move to the world of television, where Disney Channel this week released the first footage of the highly anticipated show Girl Meets World. That's the follow-up to the popular Boy Meets World from many years ago. It ran for 7 years, ending in 2000. Well, now Ben Savage and Danielle Fishel are back as Cory and Topanga. Now they're parents, and they have their own family. Girl Meets World will debut on Disney Channel this summer, and if you head to our website, you can see that little teaser trailer for it. Also coming to TV soon will be a show called The 7D from Disney. The 7D refers to the Seven Dwarves, but a very weird take on them. The art style looks nothing like Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. It's very stylized, cartoony, animated. I don't know. I can't even describe it. Very bright colors, certainly aimed at young kids, kind of quirky, wacky. But Disney has announced the voice cast of this, and there's a great list of voice actors. Kevin Michael Richardson will be Happy, Billy West as Bashful, Stephen Stanton as Sleepy, Scott Menville as Sneezy, Maurice LaMarche as Grumpy, D. Bradley Baker as Dopey, and Bill Farmer as Doc. That is quite the list of voice actors. If you're into the world of voice actors, you probably recognized all of those names. They've worked on countless shows over the years, and Bill Farmer, of course, is the voice of Goofy, so he's been in the Disney family, but it's a great list of actors there. In addition, Kelly Osbourne is going to have a voice in the show, along with a few other actors. Now, the show is going to debut over the summer on Disney XD, Disney Channel, and Disney Junior, but no specific debut date has been set just yet. And here's a final bit of sad news that really was quite bizarre last week. I was talking about the Game of Thrones premiere last Sunday, and of course there were dragons involved there, so I wanted to make it Disney and play some dragon-related songs and clips and all of that, and I played a clip of Mickey Rooney from Pete's Dragon. And within an hour or two of me finishing the podcast and putting it out there, it was revealed that Mickey Rooney had passed away at 93 years old. Really, really strange timing. I think that was the first time I had ever played a clip of Mickey Rooney ever on this show. But that aside, just terrible. I mean, Mickey Rooney has been a wonderful actor for so many years, decades. And, of course he was in Pete's Dragon, but he was in so many other things. So definitely a loss to the world of film. So naturally, I'll close out the news with what I can only imagine is the most fitting of songs that I can think of at this point to pay tribute to the late Mickey Rooney. And here's a tip from my own FastPass Plus experiences. As I mentioned earlier, I was at Magic Kingdom. I planned my attractions that I wanted to visit last night, and it's a good tip to realize that when you're picking out, it forces you to pick 3 attractions, and it doesn't really matter which 3 you pick right away, because the better user interface comes after that. You can pick whatever 3. Pick, this, that, and the other. Then go back and say you want to change your selections, and at that point, you can change each one of the different attractions to be whatever you want, and you can pick from drop-down lists of the available times. The first time through, you don't get to pick your own times. They recommend times for you, and it can be a little bit frustrating. So it's more like making a dining reservation after you've already submitted those 3, because you can really pick and fine-tune exactly when you want each of the experiences. So it's a lot easier to do it that way, in my opinion. Of course, if you wanted to recommend them, then just do the first round and be done. Everybody else, email your tips into tips@insidethemagic.net.
Welcome to It's a Small World. Please keep your party together as you walk through the turnstiles. Children under age 7 must be accompanied by an adult. And just a reminder, there is no smoking, food, or drinks. Thank you.
Bienvenidos a It's a Small World. Les rogamos que no se dispersen al cruzar los torniquetes de la entrada. Los niños menores de 7 años deben ir acompañados por una persona mayor. También les recordamos que está prohibido fumar.
The Walt Disney Company this week celebrated the 50th anniversary of the debut of It's a Small World at the New York World's Fair, which debuted to the public April 22nd, 1964. Now, they celebrated the 50th a little bit early because of preview times and, when the attraction first debuted to anybody. Didn't debut to the public till a few days later, but regardless, it is roughly 50 years old, along with a few other attractions, Great Moments of Mr. Lincoln, A Carousel of Progress, Primeval Diorama, but that aside, It's a Small World is the focus there, and was the focus of the celebrations this week. There was a live global sing-along, Walt Disney World, Disneyland Paris, Tokyo, and Hong Kong, all simultaneously doing a sing-along, very early in the morning, East Coast and certainly West Coast time, but a little bit later in the day overseas. A fun way of Disney showing and celebrating the 50th anniversary through different means of entertainment. Out here at Walt Disney World, there was a choir that sang. Overseas, there were some other choirs, as well as some individual singers and some performers and some characters. But at Disneyland had arguably the best of the bunch because, well, naturally, that is the original version of It's a Small World. It's the version that came over from the New York World Fair and was reassembled at Disneyland along with a whole lot of improvements, and that is the version that is still there today. And as part of the celebration at Disneyland, the focus was on legendary songwriter Richard Sherman, of course, of the Sherman Brothers, who co-wrote together the famous It's a Small World song. And there were multiple bits of celebration throughout the day featuring Richard Sherman. In front of the It's a Small World attraction, he went live on the internet via Google Hangout. It was hosted by Veronica Belmont, and Richard Sherman, of course, played the famous song It's a Small World, not only in its up-tempo version that you've been hearing in the background here, in the version that's playing endlessly in the attraction, but also in the slower original tempo that he and his brother Robert had written the song. Following that, Richard Sherman paraded through the park down Main Street, USA. He was riding in a car and had a microphone, and he led a sing-along throughout the entire park. Everybody could sing along with him. It's a Small World. Pretty fun entertainment there, and that's what I want to share with you now. First, his piano performance in front of the It's a Small World ride, followed by what it sounded like for the band, and then Richard Sherman himself to be riding through Disneyland in celebration of It's a Small World's 50th anniversary.
It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. It's a world of hopes and a world of fears. There's so much that we share that it's time we're aware. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. A small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small, small world. Verse 2. There's just one moon and one golden sun, and a smile means friendship to everyone. Though the mountains divide and the oceans are wide, it's a small world after all. Come on, everybody. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small, small world. Thank you. What a great choir we have.
always wonderful to hear Richard Sherman perform anything, and of course a song as iconic as It's a Small World, arguably one of the most famous songs that the Sherman Brothers ever wrote. Even better to hear that live and in person. Of course, you can watch video and see some photos and further details about that, along with the rest of the global celebration, the other sing-alongs from around the world, video of all of them over on InsideTheMagic.net. But that's not where we're going to stop the celebration of 50 years of It's a Small World here, because I want to take you back to the grand opening of It's a Small World at Disneyland so many years ago, and that event recounted by none other than Walt Disney himself.
Turn the clock back to the opening day ceremonies of It's a Small World. More than 500 children and old world folk dancers in their native costumes participated in the parade. The dedication ceremonies were attended by consular officials, representatives of the press, and thousands of Disneyland visitors. But the very special guests were children from many nations.
It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small, small world.
Water flown to Disneyland from the major oceans and seas was And so it's bon voyage to the happiest cruise that ever sailed round the world.
And to look even closer at the history of It's a Small World, I've got an interview to share with you now from that 50th celebration at Disneyland. Now, I wasn't out. However, our reporter Mark Eads was there, and he had a chance to talk to Kim Irvine. Of course, she is an Imagineer. You might already recognize her name from many, many attractions she has worked on since her time at Walt Disney Imagineering. But her family's time at Disney dates back even further, because she is the daughter of Leota Toombs, who, of course, is best known as Madame Leota. But she was an Imagineer as well, and in Haunted Mansion Holiday, you can see Kim Irvine, daughter of Leota, as Madame Leota in the Haunted Mansion Holiday version of that. So, and of course, Kim Irvine has worked on many other things, including the refurbishment of It's a Small World a few years ago, and many other attractions. So she weighed in with her thoughts on what it means for It's a Small World to reach 50 years old.
You have to remember what it was like building the original, at least a little bit of it. What was that like?
Well, I was pretty young then, and Mom was working on it, and she was very excited about, working on the attraction. She'd come aboard at Imagineering for Tiki Room, and then they jumped right on to Small World after they completed that. And what I remember mostly about it was that she would come home and look for things around the house that they could use on the model of the facade and actually in the attractions. We built, small-scale models of every single scene, as we usually do. And the model makers would decorate every scene with all kinds of jewelry findings and doilies and little pieces that resembled all of the different fabrics that Mary wanted to represent the different countries. So she would take pieces of jewelry and take, things from the house, and I always marvel in the attraction to see duplications of those in the actual real thing.
So did she use some parts from like your dollhouses and stuff?
Absolutely. And anything that will work, a model builder will make a chandelier out of it, or, make a table out of it. It's kind of fun.
So you lost some toys in a sense while they were working on
Yes, I think I did.
Do you remember any specific toys that might have been taken apart that you're like, wow?
No, I don't. But I remember jewelry being taken apart to go into the attraction, especially.
Have you ever tried to track that down in the archives?
No.
Thanks to Mark for interviewing Kim and for all of his reporting on the 50th anniversary of It's a Small World, which you can read more about over at InsideTheMagic.net. Now, to round out this celebration of 50 years of It's a Small World, I figured I'd share some particularly bizarre versions of It's a Small World, starting with the German version in the background here. But next up, here's, I'm just going to play it. This version. And you thought the version that's in the ride was bad. Okay, you don't really. Actually, it's a fantastic song. This one, maybe not so much. Here's one that you might recognize from the parks.
Did you know that a comet is a star with a tail? Come to think of it, Mickey Mouse is a star with a tail, too. Small world, huh? Why did I start playing that tune? We used that on my planet Zork to break the enemy. Hey, but really, compared to your sun, you guys really do have a small world. I mean, your sun is 109 times the diameter of Earth. How can something that big disappear at night? I stayed up all night last night trying to figure it out. And you know what? It finally dawned on me.
But the award for the most crazy, bizarre, strange, and just wacky version of It's a Small World comes to me from Rob Blum, also known as Milo the DJ on SoundCloud. He sent me what he calls a time-stretched version of It's a Small World. It's a live recording of the Disneyland attraction slowed to 5 times the original length. Now, that makes it about an hour long. I'm certainly not going to play the whole thing here, but here's just a sampling. Somehow in some bizarre universe you could use this to meditate or something. Anyway, thanks to Rob for sending that to me, and thanks to all of you for putting up with my It's a Small World craziness. Definitely head over to InsideTheMagic.net, check our YouTube channel to see plenty more Small World 50th anniversary excitement.
Hi, Ricky. Hi, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky.
Ricky, this is amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Inside the Magic listener feedback.
Okay, no, I'm not going to make it listen to that again. It's time for listener feedback, certainly. Let's jump into the first email from Eric, who writes, I thought I'd throw this question out to the podcast listeners, since I know Ricky might not have personal experience with this. I never have had to ask ITM folks for advice since I listened to the podcast from the beginning, went on my own many times, and like to think I knew all the ins and outs. But 7 years ago, though, I was sidelined with a disability that left me not in a wheelchair, but getting around on 2 crutches and facing much of the same problems as the chair folk, stairs, ramps, escalators, etc. And problems had kept me away since, but I'd been determined to get back to the Magic Kingdom on my own just to see New Fantasyland and the fire-breathing dragon, and finally nailed down my trip for September just in time for the Halloween party and Food and Wine Festival. I know what Disney's own information says about handicap access, and I've stayed in a few access rooms at the resorts myself, but I'd like to hear a few war stories for those folks who have done it already. Any tips for those who can't quite get around but are still determined to try? I'm not planning to ride many rides unless there are a few that are easy to navigate, but I could still even get in and out of the boats, Pirates, at Epcot. And should I rent a chair at the resorts just to recover from a full day at the parks? And for those non-locals, so how easy is it to get in and out of Orlando Airport and Magical Express? And for those who might not be able to climb up into a 2-story tour bus, I'm not letting anything stop me on this trip, but I'd love to hear any suggestions that might make things a little easier. Eric, you're absolutely right. I don't have any personal experience with really anything that you listed there, but I am sure somebody out there listening to this does or would. So definitely write to me. Let me know what you've had in your experiences, and I can pass it along. Next is an email from Anthony, who writes, on a recent very crowded Saturday, my family and I had FastPass Plus reservations for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at 7 p.m. Unfortunately, something happened with the ride that caused it to shut down for several hours, and at 6:27 p.m., prior to us even going over to Frontierland, I received an email from Disney saying the ride was temporarily unavailable. Additionally, as a replacement, we could visit any one of the remaining FastPass Plus experiences during normal operating hours sometime during the remainder of the day. Buzz Lightyear, Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain, of course not, Haunted Mansion, Pirates, Tomorrowland Speedway, or Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. It even said there was no action needed to select the experience in advance. Sure enough, a few hours later, with no action needed on my part whatsoever, my family and I walked up to Pirates of the Caribbean and skipped the 30-minute wait by using FastPass Plus. Having seen a lot of negative comments out there about FastPass Plus, it sure was nice to find such a great upside of the system and thought it was worth passing along. Anthony, that is fantastic, because you can imagine during the traditional system, if Thunder Mountain went down and you had a paper fast pass for a certain time, you would still have to go over to the attraction. You would have to talk to the cast member, present that ticket with them, and chances are they would say, well, this is going to be valid for the rest of the day, so just keep checking back, and whenever it's open, you can use it. That's kind of a hassle to keep checking that over and over and over. Now, if a ride goes down and that was going to be your time, that's great. Technology at its best there. They can say, hey, it's not working out for you. You know what? Do any of these other things, and it will just work. And then it did. And that's fantastic. That's a wonderful use of FastPass Plus. Thanks for the email. Next is email from Becca from London, who writes, I was hoping you could wish my sister Jess good luck on the show. She's ready to do the Disney International College program at the beginning of June in quick service food and beverage. Absolutely. Jess, good luck. I'm sure you will have a blast on your international program. And also, Becca mentioned you'll be celebrating your 21st birthday while you're out here. So happy early birthday as well. Becca also says she's been a listener to the show from the very beginning and has quite enjoyed it. So, Becca, thanks very much for that. Hopefully your 21st, Jess, your 21st birthday celebration will be a wonderful one. Of course, you'll be at Walt Disney World, and there'll be plenty of places to celebrate. I imagine your fellow cast members at the time will want to take you out for some extra special fun, being your 21st birthday and all. Next email comes in from Carrie, who writes, just wondering if the Universal Express Pass is worth the extra money. Seems like it could be a particularly crowded summer. I've seen some notes on the internet. The wait times can still be 30 minutes to an hour long with them. What are your thoughts? Maybe I should just hang with the mouse for a few extra days and save Universal for next summer, or maybe we should just embrace the madness and go for broke. The Express Pass is not cheap, and maybe in the long run it's worth every penny. Carrie, good question there. You are very, very right that it's going to be a very crowded summer at Universal with Diagon Alley opening and the Hogwarts Express and, of course, the existing expecting Wizarding World, it's going to be super crowded in both parks. I think Express Pass is going to be a must-have this summer, provided that it does extend to those new attractions. There's sometimes some weirdness when it comes to all of that. You could look into staying at one of the Universal hotels that includes Express Access or early entry into the parks, and especially into the Harry Potter areas. That could certainly help. But it's this summer, I would say Express would be a good idea, because even if the Express line is long, the standby line is going to be much longer. Now, if you wanted to have the best experience, you might be right in saving it for the future, because no matter what you're going to do this summer, the lines for the new Harry Potter areas are going to be phenomenally long, and crowds and people everywhere, and it probably won't be the most ideal version of seeing all of that. So I can't make your decision for you. Just know that no matter what you do, there's definitely going to be big crowds. Speaking of Universal, I had mentioned Cabana Bay Resort that I had stayed at, and they opened recently, that they have the fitness center for Jack LaLanne, the old fitness guru that I had no personal recollection of whatsoever. Well, Phil wrote in and said, Ricky, I remember watching Jack LaLanne on TV when I was a kid. If you watched in the first part of the old Batman movie from the 60s, Batman and Robin are flying over buildings in the Batcopter, and they go over one building where Jack LaLanne and others are exercising on the roof. They waved at the Cape Duo as they fly over. Phil, thanks for that little memory. Definitely, I guess, takes an older generation to know exactly who he is or was, but it fits in perfectly with the theme of that hotel. Next email's from Richie from Boston, who writes, I've been listening to your show for almost 4 years now, and I love it. Thanks for all that you do to deliver the news. My wife and I are planning a Disney World trip for the last week of October, from October 26th to November 1st, and I had a question regarding the crowd levels during that time of the year. We've seen and heard that the crowd levels are pretty low that time of year from multiple websites. Do you know if this is accurate? I always thought Halloween would be busy. Also, what day of the week would you recommend doing Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party? We've been to Walt Disney World many times, but never during that time of the year. Well, Richie, surprisingly, Halloween itself, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party definitely always sells out for Halloween, but Halloween itself, it's one of those holidays most people kind of want to stay home, do trick-or-treating with the family, or go to a Halloween party, not a Disney one, but a regular one, or just, hand out stuff. That's what I do. I stay home for Halloween. I don't want to go out because I've got my own Halloween plans. So, toward the end of October, that's what tends to happen. People move into their own personal version of that. At least locals do. People still still travel and decide to make that their plans. The end of October is a pretty good time to travel, especially because it's well in advance of Thanksgiving, which is still several weeks away, and that's a crazy busy time. So before that is definitely a good thing. As far as going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, if you want less people there, don't go on a weekend. Don't go on a Friday. Go during one of the weekday nights, and that would be a better option. Of course, earlier in the month is definitely lighter, or even in September. It starts early September, so that's really the best time to go. But since you're going in October, that last week, definitely opt for the weekday night that's not Halloween. Kim from Connecticut writes in and says, you probably already heard this, but they are testing FastPass Plus at Be Our Guest for lunch. We were invited to try it during our trip last week. We ordered our food when I made the reservation and got the price and a time. We had the option of not pre-ordering as well. We showed up and swiped our magic bands, paid the price, and got a rose and took a seat, and it was really fantastic. I've eaten dinner there before, but never wanted to wait in that line for lunch. People were lined up at 10 a.m. Crazy. Kim, thanks very much for that email. I knew that was on the way. I think I've heard of, testing here and there, but good to hear it all worked out really well for you. It's certainly one of the things that Disney's going to try to roll out more and more in the future, where they'd be integrating not only advanced reservations, but advanced ordering when you book your dining, not only at Be Our Guest, but other places as well. And by doing that, you'll just be able to do what you said. You show up, you swipe your card or your magic band or whatever, and boom, there's your food. Easy as that. You don't even have to do anything. So as long as you know in advance what you want. For me, I kind of like going to a restaurant and opening the menu and browsing it for a while and deciding what my stomach feels like right at that moment. But for those who know absolutely what you want in advance, it's a good way to go. Couple more emails and we'll wrap this up. Next is from Spencer, who writes, "Hey Ricky, tonight something caught my eye that I could only explain as weird. I was scrolling through TV channels and I got to Disney Channel, and this is where I got extremely confused because on that channel was Despicable Me. So I clicked on it and it took me to the channel and it really was Despicable Me. Now, since Despicable Me is from Universal, I'm confused how this is possible, especially since they are now opening the Despicable Me ride at Universal Hollywood. Could you get back to me with some information or just your input on this subject?" Spencer, this world of rights and ownership of properties is getting increasingly confusing. This is just one example. Yes, Disney channels will play things like Despicable Me, which is actually not a Universal property. It's from a different company altogether. It's not a Universal movie, but Universal got the rights to use it in the theme parks. But then Disney can play the movie on TV, and they don't really necessarily relate. Just like ABC or ABC Family will play Harry Potter films all the time because it's a very popular film series, and yet Universal has the rights to build that in the theme parks. Likewise, the Marvel situation is very, very, very confusing. Marvel is this between, I mean, the movies alone, you've got Disney Marvel, which has Marvel Studios, and they've got their most of the characters that they're using there, except for Spider-Man, that's under Sony, and except for X-Men, that's under Fox. But then there's even some blurry areas when it comes to X-Men, so it's not even clear as to where that's going to go. But then you add the theme park rights to that, and Disney has the rights to use the characters in their theme parks, except for in Orlando, because Universal has the long-standing contract with Marvel from long before Disney having made that purchase of Marvel, and so Universal is using the characters in their parks in Orlando. Very, very confusing for everybody. So, you watch a movie here, but the characters end up over here. And you watch, the characters here, but the movie's over. It's all, the wonders of licensing and contract law. Not anything that anybody can ever fully grasp, other than the fact that if you've got the entertainment in front of you, it shouldn't really matter where it came from as long as you're enjoying it. The last email for this week comes from Rebecca, who writes, "I've listened to your podcast for many years and love getting a Disney fix. I'm a true Disney File annual pass holder for years when I lived in Florida at Animal Kingdom at 4 a.m. opening day, one of the first dozen in the park, and I've been to Disney Paris, Disneyland, and Disney Cruise. And my question is, now that I don't live in Florida, is there a good way to save on annual pass holder tickets? We've bought these several times and used them to get 2 trips. Second trip, 11 and a half months later. Thanks for your terrific stories, interviews, news, videos, and keeping me up to date on everything Disney. It is my virtual visit to the theme park each week." Well, Rebecca, I'm more than happy to do it. Glad you are able to stay connected even while you're not in Florida. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of good news to share when it comes to the annual passes. There, of course, are Florida resident rates that dramatically reduce the cost of the tickets for out of state. However, there's not really an easy way to get annual passes that are substantially discounted. Universal has been more often running discounts or extended months or things like that in recent years that add value to an annual pass, but Disney, not so much. I don't really see anything happening with annual passes other than the ticket prices going up and up and up. So my only recommendation really would be just to do it before the ticket price increase happens again. And you're right, you can at least get 2 trips within roughly a year span. And then by being a pass holder, you can also get in the annual pass discounts on hotel rooms. So if you're staying on property at Walt Disney World, I'm sure you already know this, but take advantage of all those discounts that you can find, and that helps pay for those annual passes as well. I've done that. I've done that at Disneyland. Even though I didn't live out there, I've had an annual pass to Disneyland before, because I was making, at least 2 trips in a year out there, plus the hotel discounts really made it worthwhile. So that's it for listener feedback this week.
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
And that brings us into the 10th year of Inside the Magic. That is wild. This was a 9th anniversary show. We now begin the slow crawl to 1 year from now, where I'll hit 10 years of Inside the Magic, and I don't know what that means yet. 5 years was a huge, massive celebration that I swore I never would do again. That was a pretty big show. If you haven't ever listened to the 5th anniversary show of Inside the Magic, go back and find that. I have no idea what show number it is, but if you go to insidethemagic.net/podcasts and just kind of scroll back through that, you'll eventually find the 5th anniversary show, and that was just a big, huge undertaking with a lot of special guests, and it was just wonderful. So go back and listen to that for now to celebrate 9, and then maybe for 10 we'll do something, not that, but something else that will be fun. But that's a year away, so I don't even want to think about that right now, because there's so much else to look forward to in the near future with Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Diagon Alley and all kinds of other things that are coming up in the next few weeks. It's leading into summer, which is always a really, really exciting time, and I'm looking forward to all of it. Of course, I do want to thank Magical Travel for sponsoring this week's episode of Inside the Magic. You can find out more about their services by visiting magicaltravel.com. And of course, between episodes of this show, please do visit insidethemagic.net, because you'll find all of our videos and photos and news and articles and all kinds of good stuff. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, approaching 200,000 likes, followers, whatever you want to call it, on Facebook, which is a crazy, huge number. But thank you to all of you who are following along on Facebook and of course YouTube and Twitter as well, to keep up with all of the latest fun from theme parks and beyond. Speaking of the beyond, I am working on something very special for Outside the Magic that I'll be posting very soon. It's one of the reasons I was at the Magic Kingdom today, so stay tuned for a fun, we'll call it a photo series, so stay tuned for that. So thanks to all of you for listening each and every week, and have a magical week. Goodbye.
Beautiful tomorrow, just a dream.